We are live. We're not in New York. Thank God. My name is Ann Sterzinger. This is Jamie Mason, staring judgmentally at the camera, as usual. What's up, Jamie? Have you died of the Covanoids yet?
No, but we are coming live during a very quarter hour in the news cycle. Some very interesting happened in the last 15 minutes.
Oh, really? Because as you know, Jamie, but as no one listening at home is going to know, obviously, I spent the last hour or so cleaning up cat vomit and poop because one of them pooped all over the floor to tell me that the litter box was dirty. And I cleaned that up and he threw litter all over the floor. And then the other one threw up in the shoes I was about to wear. So I'm getting going. So what happened? How are we dying? Oh shit, I forgot my mask. How could I forget my mask? How are we dying this time?
Yeah, no. Well, two things that have happened. NBC is reporting that Kim Jong-un is brain dead following surgery.
What?
And President Trump tweeted 15 minutes ago that he has signed an executive order suspending all immigration into the United States. These two things have happened in the last 15 minutes.
Holy crap.
So we've come to the fast breaking news portion of our show here, folks.
God, we haven't even gotten through the cleaning up cat crap part of the show, and we're already in the fast breaking news part of the show. Well, I'll be damned. Do continue, Mr. Mason. Any other details?
Well, no, but if Kim Jong-un is either brain dead or his health is seriously compromised, really, really bad thing for North Korea, because they don't exactly have a system for the peaceful transfer of power. They're a dynastic system. They pass power on by succession. So if he dies without a clear-cut successor, then what that's going to mean is a power struggle amongst the general staff that's going to be basically like Game of Thrones with nuclear weapons.
Except we don't have to worry. Dennis Rodham is taking over, right?
That's right. Dennis will fly out there and he'll straighten all this shit out. Then again, I don't know how popular Dennis is. The Grand Marshal liked him, but that doesn't really mean that the generals liked him. Maybe the generals fucking hated him.
That's true. But, I doubt Kim Jong-un died without leaving a will, and that would seem to be the guy he liked the best.
The only problem with that hypothesis is that North Koreans are notoriously racist. They do believe that they are sort of a master race, and I don't know how well Dennis is going to fit in with that plan.
Well, as I understood it, most of their racism was directed at South Korea, but maybe I'm wrong.
Honestly, that's not a subject that I'm an expert on.
Yeah, me either.
Korean racism.
I'm not an expert on North Korean racism. I dated a guy who was Dutch and North Korean, and I wasn't sure whether he was Dutch and North Korean, and I wasn't sure whether he was more excited to be Dutch or more excited to be North Korean, but he was very excited to be himself.
Okay. So you're going to be taking us on a walking tour of LA by night?
Yeah, LA by night in the lockdown. I had planned to make it a afternoon/late afternoon walking tour of LA. Basically walking because going for a walk makes my ADHD better, so I can sort of stick to like 9 or 10 topics at once. But yeah, I'd wanted this to be, oh, shut up. This dog is driving me nuts. There's no one around. That's why my mask is down. I'm not a vector of disease. But what was I saying? Besides about my ADHD, which is kind of constant these days. Oh yeah, I was saying that I wanted to do more of an afternoon tour for y'all, but it got dark while my cats were shitting and vomiting all over the apartment. And apparently while they were shitting and vomiting everywhere, the entire world has, well, not changed completely. I mean, we're not at war with China, but wow. Yeah. Damn. You said it. Game of Thrones with nuclear weapons.
It does rather shake things up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Huh. Wow. Do you have any idea how Kim Jong-un's senior staff felt about Trump? Hello? Damn, he's got to get some decent internet before I choke him to death. Jamie, hello? All right.
Hello? You seem to be...
Hi. No, I went outside and I'm getting good reception, so it's your shitty internet again. Jamie?
Yeah, I know, because you just threatened to choke me to death. Yeah, hello.
So you did hear that bit. Okay, let's stop stalling. And wow, I'm shocked, but you want to get back to what we were originally going to podcast about, since I don't know anything about this new development?
Well, I don't know anything about it either. It's literally just happened in the minutes before we went on. I happen to be certain, and in fact, maybe it might be worth having the old Twitter up and going while we're on air, in case something happens. You know, in case, for example, some general decides to lob a nuclear weapon at the United States from North Korea.
Yeah, I might. I doubt they can lob it that far, but wow, I wonder if anyone but Kim Jong-un had the nuclear codes. I wonder if they use that system. I wonder if they have a completely different... I wonder if they have a system. Oh, goodness.
I hear that they have a hat with a bunch of pieces of paper and numbers written on them, and they just reach in the hat randomly. And, so
just a random citizen carries the football each week.
Well, I think it's a general follows Kim Jong-un around with his hat. So, are you kind of... Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Just taking a quick look here.
For those of you who are unaware, Jamie is... Well, right now I'm living in a mystery cabin somewhere in South California, but Jamie lives in British Columbia, where they have, like, I think maybe one communications satellite to service the entire province. So
yeah. Actually what we have is we have a moose with just move them around, you know.
Depending on, you know, who's got to research a high school term paper this week. Just send us the moose. Got to call somebody on a landline.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, little Jimmy in Abbotsford. He's got a paper due, eh? So move the moose. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's at times like this. It really is. It's at times like this when dictators with nuclear weapons are hovering between life and death on the surgical table that I'm really glad that I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, which is why I chose to come out here in the first place. Because when this shit really hits the fan, it's people like you in places like Los Angeles that are going to be fucked, basically.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jamie's life plan. Live someplace where you literally can't do anything ever, including live stream, so that when the apocalypse comes, you'll die in a long, agonizing, slow way while all those other suckers die quickly and mercifully. You're a genius.
Well, I was thinking not so much about, dying as not getting added to some human trafficking chain gang overseen by, cartel members who've come north of the border to plunder resources and traffic slaves in the ruins of the American Empire.
Oh, you jerk off about that happening to you every day.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
That's really twisted. I never would have put masturbation and human trafficking together quite that way. But leave it to you, Anne. Leave it to you.
Yeah, I guess human trafficking is what you do to try and avoid masturbation, right?
Well, I think human trafficking is a euphemism for white slavery, basically. That's what they used to call it back in the day. Now it's human trafficking.
Okay, is white slavery a euphemism for sex slavery, or is it just any kind of slavery that uses Caucasians?
It's a euphemism for sex slavery. That's how I understand it.
Okay, so then why would you pair the color white with sex slavery? Wouldn't it be blue slavery, as in blue jokes?
I think because the most popular flavor of woman to pick up and transport in this way would be white women, white chicks, They're the most in demand, or so I've been told.
By your, sex slaver friends? Okay, this is getting weirder.
Totally, yeah, when we hang out, in our in our human trafficking Facebook group,
Things you didn't want to know about Canadians.
What egregiously shitty part of LA are you hiking through right now?
I'm actually in Highland Park, which I didn't even know this till I got a cabin sort of on the less fashionable end of it. But apparently this is the new fashionable artist neighborhood, kind of more on the, which direction is it? I think east end of it? No, more on the north end of it than I'm at. I'm at the end where it still hasn't really been gentrified yet, but they're like down by the north end, right by the dollar store. You know it's about to be gentrified when there's a dollar store next to like a head shop, but there's all kinds of ritzy / hipstery little boutiques down there now. So yeah, I guess Silver Lake is out, Highland Park is in case any of the 20,000 delusional high school graduates who believe they're going to be the next movie star to make it in LA. I heard a rumor that 20,000 people a year come here hoping to be movie stars. Like, that sounds ridiculous. I mean, how are there that many idiots in the United States with enough money to rent an apartment here?
Only 20,000.
Of course, I should talk.
There are. To be honest, there are 300.
There are what?
Hello.
Hi, I can never tell whether you've frozen up or
3 million idiots. Hello.
Hello, is there any place you can go to get better reception?
Hello.
Hello? Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Wow, this is really annoying. I'm sure every listener we had has dropped out now. Is there any place you can go to get better reception? Because I've like gone outside and I'm walking all over and it's still just in and out as usual with you. Like, can't you get the moose closer to your house? Oh, God damn it. North Korea's jamming up our comm lines.
I'm going to try moving.
Okay.
That must be it.
Yeah, you must be in a dead spot. Because, like, I'm avoiding the hills. I'm shuffling all over the neighborhood. Yeah, I can't get reception when I'm too close to a hill, which is why I can't do shit like this in my house, because it's like nestled up, well, my Airbnb, because it's nestled up against a hill. All right, apologies to the people who are, yeah, that's better. Is there still a delay?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Are you hearing me right away now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because before there was a delay every time I spoke. I could.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a delay though. Because before when I spoke, I was hearing my voice echo out of your speakers like 30 seconds after I said something. But anyway.
Okay, well we'll try this.
All right, it's definitely better now. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna quit apologizing to any listeners because that's getting annoying too. Oh, there's people around. Cover my mouth and nose. Yeah, the scary news from yesterday was that as everyone was celebrating and getting ready to open up the country, Los Angeles actually had a spike in deaths. So, and I'm not surprised. I see so many people in the neighborhood just wandering around without masks on. Like, I go to the dollar store and people are just crashing into me. I'm probably gonna die. Anyway.
I hope not.
No, you don't. You can't wait for me to die so you can piss on my grave. You can't see that I'm laughing.
No, I want you around. I want you. Yeah, I want you around to torment for years to come.
You're assuming you'll live for years. But
yeah.
So wow, our original intent with this podcast has already been completely derailed, and it wasn't even because of my ADHD. It's because, well, the universe has ADHD. And I swear to God, in what other era could you clean cat barf and get back online and suddenly everything has changed?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's really something about Trump and that immigration order.
Yeah, what? So He stopped all immigration from everywhere forever, or for a indefinite period of time, or till we defeat the Covanoids.
All it said, it was just I caught a glimpse of a tweet from him saying, "I've just signed an executive order halting immigration into the United States," and that's as far as I read.
Wow. Well, you know, it's not a bad idea. I'm guessing part of his motivation is that if the economy tanks, he doesn't want another 1,000 people a day here looking for jobs and social benefits as well. Oh my God. Because, you know, we're doing all of these sort of primitive UBI programs, universal basic income. Like that's what the relief check is. It's a temporary UBI, because everyone kind of stopped arguing about that subject when it became apparent that, you know, no one was going to be able to work for an indefinite period of time. So it's not socialism really. It's kind of safeguarding our capitalism. But he probably doesn't want people who've never paid taxes here moving in all of a sudden and cashing in on it, right? Because it's going to be massively expensive to start, just even with the people we have here. And then if the economy tanks, he's not going to want an extra 1,000 people a day looking for a job when nobody has jobs. That's my guess.
Yeah, well, all of these subsidies, all of these checks that are going out to people, the corona bucks that are going out to people are keeping the economy on.
Okay, you've frozen up again. They're keeping the economy alive? Quiescent?
Keeping it on. Like CPR.
Yeah. Yeah, but in the future, we're going to have to pay it all back. And I'm guessing we want to borrow as little money as we possibly can. Of course, you know, if we wind up playing a nuclear ping pong with China, there might not be anybody left to pay back or to pay.
I just look at the direction that things seem to be going in now. Everything just seems so catastrophic.
Yeah. Yeah, for the past 10 years, we've only heard catastrophe used as something you're not supposed to do in front of your psychiatrist. But looks like we're having a bunch of actual catastrophes now.
Well, you know, we're out of the realm of first world problems, right? You know, things are rapidly getting more interesting. As Madonna's there in her milky bathwater rose petal, and talks about how, you know, coronavirus is really makes all equal, you know, from her Manhattan pit.
Wow, why does everyone think I'm a prostitute? Do you hear that honking?
Well, maybe because you're walking around in your bathrobe.
It's not a bathrobe. It's a nice raincoat.
And you're showing cleavage. You're showing your bustier.
I don't have any cleavage, you know that. I mean, granted, I am wearing my pajamas.
Well, then
What's that?
Well, quit flashing your tits. Close your jacket.
All I'm flashing is my cat vomit stained pajamas. God, those animals.
Well,
They're cute. They definitely looked like emergency backup food supplies when they were vomiting and shitting all over my floor and my shoes today. Now, if things get really catastrophic, I've got 2 fresh steaks on the hoof right in my own home.
Absolutely. And I think having the willpower to eat your own house pets is part of what makes America, or it will make America great in the future.
Make America great again after the apocalypse. So right.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it's we've gone from make America great again to keep America great again to let's help America survive the tumult of the first quarter.
Every man for himself. Time to eat your house pets.
That's right. We jumped straight from Camelot right into fucking Bartertown, folks.
As much as I wanted to give people a video of Los Angeles, maybe we need to turn the video off to preserve the audio. Kind of like I might need to eat my house pets to preserve my own life. Let's give that a shot.
Okay.
All right, so how's the delay now? Okay. Wow, if anything, that's worse. Yeah, I can hear you. How much of a delay are we having now?
I don't think there's any delay from you.
Okay. I was noticing a pretty bad delay before, and you were breaking up all the time. But let's go with this. I mean, it's of completely deserted Los Angeles. This is not going to be the most popular live stream I have ever done, if only for the fact.
Annie?
Hello?
Anne?
Hi? Hello?
Are you back? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you faded out there for like about 10. Hello?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me? Oh my God, this is the most annoying fucking live stream ever! Oh God. All right. Even I don't want to listen to this as I'm recording it. God. Next time a moose goes by your house, Jamie, I suggest you shoot it and take the dish.
Okay.
I mean, we're in lockdown. Who's going to come get it?
Yeah, really.
I mean,
I guess
granted, everyone else in BC wants to watch Netflix, but clearly they can't anyway because your internet is so shitty.
Well, I mean, the moose just has to be in the right position, eh?
Yeah. Preferably with its feet in the air and the dish in your living room.
Okay, it's time for Game of Thrones, eh? So move that moose closer to Vancouver now. Get it right in close there.
You have the Canadian radar dish moose move with the time zones, like when Game of Thrones comes on the East Coast, he starts out over there, and then an hour later, it's in the Central Standard Zone. Fucking fast moving.
No, we have beavers on the East Coast. It's on a beaver out there, right?
Oh, I just lost my reception trying to watch Game of Thrones. I think the beaver drowned. Wow. I used to have basically a Canadian accent because I'm from Wisconsin, but I trained it out of me so hard that now when I try to do a Canadian or Wisconsin accent, for some reason I sound Irish.
That's funny.
I used to accent naturally, and now I can't even do it as a joke. I trained myself so hard not to do it that it just comes out Irish. Wow, I already said that, as if this weren't boring enough. Hi, listeners, or listener, or ourselves. We're just, let's face it, we're just fucking talking to ourselves. On a really shitty walkie-talkie.
I tried to figure out how to do the link, and I couldn't do it.
You mean the link I sent you, or?
No, you wanted me to link all this to social media, and I tried, and I couldn't.
Oh. So maybe I forgot to even make it live. No, it's live. It's live. So you're just dumb.
See it?
What's that?
No, well, I mean, I could grab the link from StreamYard.
Well, no, then that's going to invite everyone who gets that link in here. So we're suddenly going to have 40 people trying to get on the live stream. If there are 40 listeners, which I doubt it. Okay, we'll have 2 people trying to get in here, and they'll both be my stalkers.
Yeah, you've been having some great luck with your ex-stalkers, haven't you?
Oh God. Man, somebody I dated more than 20 years ago has been, well, now that everyone in the world is on lockdown, they're all getting drunk and looking at people from 20 years ago. So the guy I dated 20 years ago who punched me in the face for beating him at chess when he taught me to play chess. And the part that really sucks about that story, as I've said before, is that instead of, I hit him back, of course, because when someone punches you in the face, your first instinct is to haul off and punch them back as fast as possible. Well, the bartender was his buddy, so the bartender kicked me out of the bar and let him stay there and keep drinking. So I'm a little sore about that. Also, I had a terrible black eye, but anyway, he is apparently drunk in lockdown and started calling me like repeatedly on Facebook. This is why I've disabled Facebook calls, because everyone I've ever known is drunk and trying to call me on Facebook. So don't try to call me on Facebook because I have disabled that shit. All right. But you know, he was never really a stalker. He's just, I'm sure, feeling drunk and regretful now. 20 years too late, buddy.
Yeah, you think people would have a little bit of self-respect during a fucking pandemic?
Yeah. Nope.
Like you know you might fucking die, so show some class, you know. Don't be yanking your dick out of your pants and chasing some chick you should have gotten over back when you were in high school, you know.
Oh
show
God!
Some fucking maturity.
Yeah, like us. This kind of makes me want to start a zine or something, like a web zine about like fucked up shit people have done out of being drunk and or bored and or cabin fever during the lockdown.
Well, there's a whole bunch of lockdown related publications that are happening right now. There's the Modern Decameron Project. Have you heard about that?
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds really fun.
Yeah. I think it's by invitation only. My friend of mine, Sonia Tafe, has a story in it. But yeah, and it was like a chick thing.
Oh, okay. So it's chicks only?
I think it's a chick thing, yeah.
So
like you could do it.
was Geoffrey Chaucer a chick? Is that their new theory? Like we're taking back the Decameron. Oh wait, that's
Chaucer didn't write the
I'm sorry. That was not the Decameron. I'm sorry.
Dipshit. It's the Canterbury Tales.
Yeah, that's wow. Wow, he's not even Italian. What's wrong with me? He's not even Italian.
Oh my God.
Okay, so yeah. I've definitely got cabin fever. My brain just decided.
English. Well, he was. Now he's just fucking dead.
Yeah. But yeah, my brain just decided that Geoffrey Chaucer was Italian, and you know, any set of stories that people are telling, they're bored and stuck somewhere, is the same as any other set of stories that people are bored telling each other while they're stuck somewhere. Los Angeles. Oh wait, and now I was just holding my phone up in hopes that people could see this beautiful valley, but then I remembered my video is off here. Here's the beautiful valley, which you probably can barely even see because of the light issues. So I will turn the video off again. Wow, I think this is the most fucked up live stream I have ever done. So we don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
We don't know whether we have no reception because the moose is nowhere near BC. I just confused the Decameron with the Canterbury Tales, and we've completely not even begun to talk about the subject that we were going to talk about. Because we were going to talk about the French Nobel Prize winner who came up with this cockamamie theory that for why he thinks the Covanoid soldiers were synthesized in a laboratory as opposed to being zoogenic. But yeah, while I was cleaning up the cat puke, Kim Jong-un, did he die or go into a coma or? Hello? Jamie's dead. Hey, Jamie, are you dead? All right, well, I guess I'll have to entertain myself while he tries to find his way back on.
Hello?
Hello? Okay, I thought you had died.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I couldn't hear you for a very long time. I thought you were dead, but no such luck.
No such luck.
Wow, this is some delay. It's really getting on my tits. So, as I was saying, we don't know what's going to happen to Kim Jong-un. And as for why Trump has ended all immigration, at least for the moment, to the United States, I have only my speculations that it is related to the possible unemployment rate and or the cost of various consumer and business bailouts. So, we were going to talk about the French professor, was it Montagnier or something else? Nobel Prize winner. Obviously, I don't keep track of Nobel Prize winners. He won a Nobel Prize in 2008. He's a big deal when it comes to genetic research and germs and bugs and viruses. And he published, I think it was a medical zine online, basically, because the mainstream French press doesn't really want to talk to him. He published an interview about his theory regarding the genesis of the SARS-2 virus, which causes Covanoid soldiers. So you want to give us a rundown on that, Jamie, or should we just abandon our actual topic completely?
He was on a podcast. It was a French podcast called Pourquoi Docteur? And his name is Dr. Luc Montagnier, and he's a microbiologist. He's also the co-discoverer of HIV, which is part of what makes this interesting. Are you with me so far?
Yeah, I'm with you so far. I understand that his credentials are very impressive. It's just the interview left me very skeptical. But go on.
Well, what was it about a Nobel Prize winning scientist making an assertion that makes you skeptical,
Anne? The fact that A, shit like Nobel Prizes tend to go to people's heads. B, he won the Nobel Prize in 2008 for work that he had done previously, probably beginning in the 1980s. And I'm not going to say that I'm not experiencing a certain amount of age-related cognitive decline, which I obviously am. And I'm not going to say that old people suck, because not all of us do. Not all of them do. I'm middle-aged, but anyway. I'm just saying, in the interview, he didn't give any specifics, and he didn't give, I was waiting to hear the actual science, skillfully or unskillfully, whatever, simplified so that as a layperson I could understand it. But I didn't get any explanation of the science that went over my head, and I didn't get any explanation of the science that went under my head. I just got a lot of snark about I got a lot of snark about how this fish market theory, it is a interesting fairy tale, and he used the kind of vocabulary and the kind of expressions that I've heard French academics use before in French, and it was the kind of shit that they tend to say when they kind of feel arch and superior, but they're bullshitting. So, it's kind of like, when the U.S. press, when MSNBC just refers to Trump as the orange man, it's not so much an argument as it is just a way of dismissing counter-argument. To his credit, he did clarify when asked that his idea was just a hypothesis. He did not try to claim that he was absolutely certain about it. But he didn't convince me of anything, because even as a layperson, I knew enough to have questions. His claim is that he went into, after they sequenced, I think it was an Indian scientific website published for the scientific community, the sequencing of the SARS-2 genome, or whatever you call it when it's RNA instead of DNA. Maybe the same thing, I don't know. But the RNA sequence, which is the kind of genetic information that viruses have, as opposed to the DNA that real life forms such as ourselves possess. They sequenced the RNA, and this professor found, and obviously he's familiar with the genetic sequence of HIV because he did so much work with it. He found a segment in the SARS-2 virus that supposedly looks exactly like the genetic sequencing of HIV. Basically, with my limited knowledge of genetics, it kind of sounded like it was spelled the same. So my question, which wasn't addressed or answered, and the question that should immediately come to mind is, so how often is it that viruses share a large chunk of DNA? And he said the sequence was so exact that it couldn't have been natural. It had to be human made because, we have CRISPR and all that shit where you can just basically photocopy genetic material and plunk it into another organism. And he said it looked close enough that it had to be human made because it was the same sequencing as HIV. But he didn't give the odds of this happening. Like, how likely or unlikely is it that the same sequencing would be found somewhere in SARS-2 as was in HIV? I mean, is it a common sequencing for a virus RNA? Is it uncommon? Is it like a 1 in 2 chance that they're similar, or is it a 1 in 10 million chance? And he didn't address that at all. And I don't know anything about his science, and even I knew to ask that question. Like, basically, so how big of a coincidence would this be if it were natural? You know, so I thought if there's any specifics to this theory that would prove it and make it more than just a guess, and him hoping that he'll come up with something else amazing that'll re-establish his name as a scientist in this decade or the coming decade, is it wishful thinking, or is this really too much to be a coincidence? And he didn't address that. He just said, "Oh, it's a beautiful story that there's in a fish market, blah, blah, blah." And I was just like, that just sounds like a French academic bullshitting. You're not convincing me, dude. Like, even as somebody who doesn't know about your science, I know enough to ask an obvious question that you didn't answer.
So you think his Nobel Prize went to his head? And he's
exactly.
Bullshitting.
Yeah.
and because his research was done, he won his 2008 Nobel for research he did before. His Nobel comes sort of with an expiration date. So, yeah. I would have thought you'd have just been excited that I was taking a French person seriously for a change.
Well, I mean, you know.
How often does that happen?
Jamie, the occasions of you taking anyone but yourself seriously, I can count them on one hand probably throughout your entire lifetime. So, yeah, that's true. I would have found that very appealing if it weren't for the fact that the guy sounds like he's bullshitting.
Well, let me say this about that, you know. I think it's a terrible thing, first of all, for you to say about me, because I'm a wonderful guy. I just want everybody to know that, to know that about me. You know, don't listen to this bitch and what she has to say about me.
Jamie, you walked right into that one. You walked right into it. I didn't even move my fist. You just ran at it full speed.
I am a wonderful guy. And and second thing is I think it's very important, you know, right now to listen to people, you know, who are educated about highfalutin shit like, you know, viruses and microbes and stuff, because, you know, people like you and me don't know anything about that, and we have to rely on the doctors. You know, we have to rely on the doctors.
But, right, which is why I wish he explained his damn theory instead of just mocking everyone else's theory.
Well, I think all of this is going to be a moot point here pretty fast, because, you know, if Kim Jong-un really is like in a coma or something, shit's going to hit the fan so fast, none of this is going to matter.
Look on Twitter. Are there nukes coming right now, for example?
Well, you're on the West Coast. Just look up. Do you see any?
No, there's a lot of light pollution here.
Yeah, we don't have any nukes coming this way, but there's nothing to hit, you know. I mean, we do have the world's largest hockey stick here in my town, so they might want to nuke that. I don't know.
You might want to dig a bunker.
Yeah. See, this is.
I mean, if the Chinese run out of modern tanks, they might need that stick.
Yeah. Well, this is why I keep trying to get you to come visit because I want to show you wonderful things like the world's largest hockey stick. And yeah, then I want to show you my hockey stick. Yeah.
So what you're saying is your dick is crooked.
Look, it's funny. You should mention my dick because they've been talking about hockey sticks a lot with coronavirus. We talk about the hockey stick graph, the hockey stick progression.
Right.
And so, yeah, maybe there's this little town here in the middle of nowhere has more to the world on coronavirus than you might think.
Yeah. I mean, because we couldn't just draw a stick graph. We need the hockey stick and put it on a giant graph so everyone can understand. Actually, people are so dumb that might actually help.
Ours is on a giant building, but, hey, I'm sure we could move it. It only weighs like 64,000 pounds or something ridiculous.
Well, how many moose do you have?
Actually, we have elk here on the island.
Oh, well, they're a hardworking mammal. What the hell was that noise? Oh, that was a dog with a really high, squeaky voice. Wow. Looks like a cross between a Cocker Spaniel and a wiener dog. Now thanks to our poor reception, there's absolutely no pros to me doing this walking around and nothing but cons. No one can see the scenery, but they get all the noise of Highland Park streets.
I think you should shoot that dog and take it home and store it for meat.
Yeah, I do love my cats, even when they throw up in my shoes. I really want to save them for a last resort. But other people's pets, we've had a couple of pork packing plants closed down. I'm not a big pork fan, but there are other meats I enjoy, and there may be a run on my favorite meats once pork is out of the picture. No, I haven't converted to Islam or any other pork-despising religion. It's just, it's a little bit too cannibal-y for me. Also, I don't like the taste.
Pork is good.
I just don't like it.
Okay, well.
I mean, my grandma used to make an excellent ham with horseradish, but other than that, I haven't found a lot of pork dishes I dig.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know, Ann. I think here we are surfing the great cosmic catastrophe. And we really have to ask ourselves, what have we learned? What has the Western world learned these last 70 years? And I think the main thing is don't buy cheap plastic shit from China. That's really the lesson we should have learned a long time ago.
Well, we can even generalize that lesson. There's remembering there's no such thing as a free lunch.
It's true.
I mean, we have that saying, but we thought we could get a free lunch. Like, yeah, we can get really cheap goods at Walmart, and all of a sudden my dollar as a consumer is worth more. And then we were like, oh shit, we're losing all our jobs. So my dollar may be worth more, but I don't have as many dollars. And now we're going, oh shit, there's a rival power in the world that we helped to create. And, some of our intentions weren't that terrible. We wanted to help them when they were struggling with their full-on communist economy. But, then we kind of helped them turn it into what I think a lot of us thought that they were converting, they were slowly inching their way towards freedom and democracy in a capitalist system. But I think I've already had this discussion with you in private. They've, instead of moving towards freedom and democracy, they've given people just enough freedom and some people just enough cash to be entrepreneurs, use the rest of the country as slave labor, and get all the make a lot of profit off of capitalism. Although I'm not sure what you call profit that comes just from having a huge trade surplus with cheap goods because you have cheap labor. You're kind of externalizing where you're getting your profit from. But anyway,
well, China,
with a mix of good intentions and we want a free lunch intentions, we've created another superpower, or helped it to create itself. Allowed the conditions for it to grow, and then we gave all of our medical production over to them, like medicines. It's not just the PPE, there's medicines. My psychiatrist was telling me about all the medicines he's having a hard time getting for his patients because there are shortages.
well, the Chinese have done a really good job of attracting foreign investment in the last 20 years or so.
Oh yeah, I mean the great combination of we have great logistics, we have great leaders and a lot of capital, and our labor force is basically slaves.
Yeah, and they've turned up the gas in the high tech sector, and they've made some big strides in things like AI and aerospace, and they're looking like a good bet. The problem with China is that they've leveraged themselves to the hilt. They built a tremendous amount in the last 8 years, in particular, of transport infrastructure, of highways, of rail hubs, all of it intended to furnish a transport infrastructure to the new coastal cities that they've projected. And basically, they've done all of this on capital credit. Now they have to pay the piper. And they were kind of counting on a Hillary Clinton win that would keep the status quo on trade, and they could pay off this huge infrastructure buy that they've leveraged. But instead, they got Trump, and he's boot fucking them like they're a narc at a biker rally. I mean, he's just shit kicking them with all these sanctions. So they're really hurting right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of internet murmuring about war between the U.S. and China, and I've even joked, how are we going to pay for the stimulus package? Just borrow it from China, and then when they want their money back, point to our nukes and go, really? I mean, it's not fair to borrow money under those terms, but at the same time, they kind of fucked the whole world,
Well, yeah, they really have. They've really screwed the pooch now.
I mean, basically everyone except Russia kind of wants to nuke them.
Russia's pretty pissed too.
Really? Last I heard, they were
finally.
Go ahead.
They're finally starting to report their coronavirus numbers, and their numbers are pretty bad.
Because at first they were pretty low, and I was like, is China trying to make an ally by sending all the decent PPE to Russia? But apparently not. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the reports from all over the world of China sending supposed donations of, surgical blouses and face masks, and people take them out of the boxes, and either the box is half stuffed with confetti, or they just don't work, or there are a bunch of French nurses There's a video of French nurses just sort of disgustingly trying to put on these surgical blouses, and they just disintegrate as they're putting them on. And the nurses are like, gee, thanks. You're a real bunch of humanitarians here, Communist Party. I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound too PC, but we really do. I was thinking about this afternoon. At the risk of sounding PC, whatever, I'm not going to kowtow to the people who insist that everything be un-PC either. We need to be careful not to confuse the Chinese Apple factory slaves with the Communist Party.
Oh yeah.
Like when you talk about the Chinese,
Chinese people are fine. You know, it's the committee of the Chinese Communist Party.
Right. Well, and all their lackeys. I mean, you know, the people responsible are responsible, but if you just start bitching about the Chinese as a whole, then you lose one of the central lessons we need to learn here, which is communism is never going to work, and it always kills a lot of people.
Well, yeah, no matter what race of people try it, you know, because it's a big nasty clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's a clusterfuck, and I think one of the things that I've learned from the Covanoid invasion is that one of the worst things about communism is that it forces all of its officials, you know, from the top to, you know, the dude who has to check the safety valves at the, you know, nuclear plant, it forces them all to lie, because there's no room to admit that something went wrong, because then you're questioning your supervisor, and you're questioning communism, and you're questioning Mao, and you're questioning Marx, and you know, you'll wake up in a hole in the ground being flooded with water and fire ants. So, you know, if your professor is correct and it came out of a lab, possibly there was a tech there who knew.
Yeah, you can't. You know, question fearless.
Right. You can't question fearless leader, and you know it goes all the way to the bottom. Like everyone's had a parent or a boss like this, where you're afraid to ever admit that you made a mistake, so things get more and more fucked up. I mean, anyone who's ever had a dysfunctional family member or a shitty boss should be able to suss out what I'm talking about. It's that, you know, like, fearless leader can't be wrong, that dictatorial atmosphere where everybody's terrified to say that shit's going wrong, and so shit just gets worse and worse and worse, which, even if that didn't happen at the lab, it clearly happened as the crisis began. I think Jamie's waiting for me to finish talking on his end.
Yep, and kept snowballing.
Yeah. I mean, the more people don't blow the whistle, the worse things are going to get.
No, I've already spoken. Hello.
Oh, hey, yeah. No, that was a delay.
Hello?
That was a delay.
Hello?
Hello? That was a delay, Jamie. Have you figured out by now that you hear things 5 minutes after I say them?
The delays are getting...
Ay, 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 ay. Hello? James. Anyway, he'll be back in eventually, I hope. As I was ranting. Yeah. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Jesus Christ. Looks like he's dropped out. Well, I hereby resolve not to do any broadcasts or attempts to record anything with Jamie Mason until he improves his fucking internet. Maybe he needs to go to the library or something. Let's see if he ever gets back in. What, should I just reiterate my last point? Or I'll go